what I love about John is he challenges everything. But you know what? If you don't have an answer, then you know it's a problem.
Yeah.
Right? So if you can't answer the question. Now, there were times I'd answer a question, he still...
Jimmy O from JoBlo, I'm going to start with you because there's a real delicate balance of finding a character and finding the relationship with someone on the spectrum. That's a powerful thing, and you have so much compassion there and so much frustration, which is very realistic. How did you find that? Did you work with people with autism? Did you know people with autism? Because that felt real. All of this feels real.
You look, I mean, I don't really look at. I mean, he's who he is. You know, he's not his condition or whatever it is. I think that it was a really wonderful opportunity that I'm enormously grateful for. You know, in the first film, you see Brax, but it's a very polished version. He's sort of cloaked in mystery. I mean, the whole sort of device is you don't know that they're brothers in the first one. And in the second one, you know, what Gav and I always spoke about was that, you know, these two brothers, they grew up in this singular way. They went through the exact same sort of traumatic experience. And they're both guys that had real fluency with violence. The violence was imposed upon them, and they had to get real familiar with that. And that makes it really hard to relate to people sometimes, except for the people that you go through it with. And I think that, you know, what was really important to me is that in this version we were going to get to peek behind the curtain a little bit in Brax, that he was going to be every bit as messy, every bit as complicated, every bit as lonely as his brother, and that he's every bit as afflicted, you know, and you know, I was grateful for that, and you know, again, I feel like that hole inside of him really was this 8 years, you know, and it was present in every single scene. Yeah.
Gavin, first of all, Warrior is one of the best films ever made, one of my favorites.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You do such a nice job with these two films of portraying someone who has, you know, their issues, of these characters, and even the women. These are real, well drawn out characters. It's not just beating people up. What was the basis for this? Where'd you come up with this? The accountant one, the accountant.
Well, I didn't come up. So Bill Dubuque created the accountant. Okay. So you know, I kneel at the altar of Bill Dubuque. It was all born out of Bill's beautiful mind. Without getting into his personal life, he understands the condition very well. So he was writing from a place of authenticity and truthfulness. He created Brax. So all that, I inherited a wonderful script. Mm-hmm. Now, when I got it, I did want to, you know, because I think any filmmaker, you know, I'm always just trying to figure, how do I make it personal for me? How am I going to explore my own shit through this material?
For sure. So
it became a collaboration with Bill of just kind of massaging things in a direction, some of those flashbacks and things like that were important to me. So, and then us figuring each other out just aesthetically, Bill and I. Once we got to the second one, then that became more of a collaboration, because there were things that were important to me that I wanted to explore in the second movie. Most importantly, you know, the idea of integrating the two brothers and having them try to fix their shit, all their problems, and so that was important to me. I also wanted to build a plot around human trafficking. That was important to me, and I thought taking Ray out at the beginning was a good idea, because it would be a personal story for the two of them in this investigation. But you know, you give these ideas to Bill, and then he's got to go. You know, these are just ideas. You just got to go write it and create it, and then he, you know, all the Anna-E stuff, and that was all Bill, and then it became, you know, it's just going back and forth. You get the script, you know, so it's a great partnership with Bill, and then that translates to a partnership with these guys, because you know, the work that we do is all in prep, And I always feel like as long as we just do all the work in the beginning, like I always say, you make the movie before you make the movie, in that prep, then I'm just kind of an audience after that. I just like put them in the situation, and then. But I didn't know them. Then I mean, magic just started to happen with these guys. Like he so took, John so took ownership of the character, and he always asks. Really, what I love about John is he challenges everything. But you know what? If you don't have an answer, then you know it's a problem.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can't answer the question. Now, there were times I'd answer a question, he still and I'd be like, well, just try it, John. Before you say no, just try it. And so we go through that. But, and Ben had, there was a deeper understanding of the character of Ben because there was just more to do in the first movie. Yeah. He was on his own, and we didn't investigate Brax nearly as deeply as we did, and it was really important to investigate him in the second movie. And, I'd work with this guy anytime, anywhere. It's just truly a joy because he so cares. He's so immersed. He's so just like, it's like I remember someone said to me about John, I'm like, if I want John in my foxhole.
Yeah.
That's who he is. So.
This movie shocked me in a way that, like the series, these two films, but this one specifically, the way your characters are written.
Yeah.
These are good characters. They are. You have this, you go through a lot with this. What was it like working with these guys and kind of getting into the skin of this?
Yeah, I mean, I love that you picked up on the fact that specifically for our characters, certainly as female characters, it's always, kind of a hit or miss situation in terms of like, is there going to be enough there to latch onto something and bring all the elements of yourself that you would hope to bring to a character, the complexity, and really do something with it and really take the audience on the journey with that character. And so this is the first time in my career, really, that I've ever revisited a character so many years later, and one that, I get stopped all the time. I love the accountant and Mary Beth Medina, and that's, so that's really special to me because you don't always get that. So to revisit a character and feel like, 9 years have passed, she has grown, I have grown. Hopefully that just kind of inherently is there. You just hope your own growth is kind of just in there somewhere. And then there's the script that you're given and the story that, the creatives have come up with to sort of take this, evolved character through her paces. And certainly for Mary Beth, she's kind of challenged at every turn by all these other complex characters, which is kind of like, that's the stuff that you hope for sure.
Absolutely. You do marvelous job. And with you,
Thank you.
What was it like? There's a lot of meat here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it was, I'd say it was a kind of part that I've never got to play before. I didn't know how I was going to do it because Gavin kept telling me, like, I don't want this to be like the T-1000. Like, there's got to be more to it. She can't just be a robot. So I was like, okay, but kind of, what do I do? And so I watched movie roles where actors killed it and they were saying a lot without saying much, and like Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men. Yeah. How do you carry danger into a room? How do you make people feel unsettled? And a lot of it is just, it's a little, borderline on having little empathy, and you're an apex predator and you're just after what you're after, and you're not really sort of plagued by fear or, and these other things that I am in real life. So it was a departure for me for sure, but also like everyone wants to play a villain. At least I do.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And you do, I mean, it's marvelous.
Thank you.
But I also don't, again, there's so many layers with both of these characters. She's not just a villain.
Yes.
You're not just the wacky cop that they get sidekicked. Gavin, what is it about him as a director? What does he bring to the table?
He brings everything. I mean, he's sort of at the end of the day, it's sort of it's a collective vision, but he really is the one that from the beginning, there's a real sort of attention to detail, and as thorough a director as I've ever had the pleasure of working with, you realize when you sort of come with a question, he has already considered every iteration of that question. And so you kind of, it's nice to feel like, okay, this has already been thought through. Nothing is arbitrary. No choice is arbitrary. And anything I'm bringing, it's being certainly considered and valued. And that's the thing. You want to feel your sense of value as an actor, that when you kind of pitch an idea or say, I feel really strongly about this, that you're heard and it's welcome. And it's not just sort of, you know, you're being placated because you dare to have an idea. So I think like the best directors to me are the best listeners, are the ones that trust you as the person that they have cast to bring all of yourself to a role. And I think that we all speak highly of Gavin because he's just that good.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Thank you. All right. What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. We're doing it again, baby. We're back. How you guys doing? I've noticed a lot of returning homies in the chat tonight, so big shout out to Be Positive 99, Hip Hop Legend, Cartoon Man. Looks like Cowboy is back. Thank you. I think that makes this your 6th stream with us, so thank you for being here for that, Cowboy. Looks like we've also got newcomer Kylie's World specifically asking for a shout out. Well, there you go. Kylie's World, thank you for being here. Hope you're ready to talk some movies. Dungeon Crawler Jesse, thank you for being here. Hello. It's good to see you all. It is good. Hey, Darnell's here too. We got the whole crew. King Sport Cal is back. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. Of course I knew you wouldn't forget about me, King Sport Cal. Thank you for coming back. We missed you over here. Glindle Bro, you missed the old intro. Well, do you miss the song? Because not much has changed. 6 times the charm. Oh, so I was right. It is your 6th time. Awesome. Guys, welcome back. As you can tell from the thumbnail and the title of this live stream, we got to talk about Sinners. There has been so much hype around that movie since it came out. I went and saw it last weekend. I've been waiting all week to talk to you guys about it, so I'm excited. There will be some spoilers, probably. I'll try to kind of dance around anything for those of you that haven't seen it, but man, it's a good movie, so we're going to talk about it for sure. But how are you guys doing? Get in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what your weekend plans are. Let me know who's going to see what. Revenge of the Sith, I think, is playing. I got a re-release. Maybe you guys are going to see that. All right. Looks like we got quite a few of you here. So let's dive into it, okay? Let's start with before we get into Sinners, let's start with maybe some smaller things. Something I want to jump into. We got our first look trailer at I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't know if this is the freeze frame I should be showing you guys. Be Positive says Sinners versus From Dusk Till Dawn. Wait until I give you my review. It's complicated. Kingsport Cal, what weird ass cough syrup am I drinking? Yeah, this is my lean, bro. This is how I get down. This is Kavita cherry probiotic kombucha. It is delicious, but it's an acquired taste. Okay, I'm going to get to your guys' comments, but yeah, I covered up the money shot. All right, let's watch this trailer, okay? I was saving you guys from yourselves, you pervs.
You okay?
I did this trailer with very minimal audio for copyright purposes, but this trailer is available online. This is the new I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer, and I have thoughts, so I think it's important that we watch this, because if you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, they revealed the plot of the film, and I was devastated at how boring it sounded. So I wanted to watch this trailer and see if it fixed anything for me. This will be my second time seeing it. Yeah, hip hop legend, dude, you gotta see Sinners, man. Go see it this weekend. I'm gonna try not to spoil anything for you, but
Breath in, and remember the energy you give to the universe.
Kingsport. Yeah, dude, it's an acquired taste. This drink is an acquired taste, 100%. But it's good for you. I did like that the opening kill shot of the trailer, at least, was with a harpoon gun. I think that's nice.
Do you think this is some kind of karma for what we did? What if someone saw what happened?
Also, am I reading comments from both platforms at the same time? Yes, I am.
You need to handle this. This isn't the first time there's been violence like this in Southport.
Freddie Prinze Jr., baby. He's back in a big way. I need to start drinking. I only remember that line because realistically, I don't know. That's a very millennial thing to say. And I would know. There she is, guys. The big reveal. Jennifer Love Hewitt is back.
What did you do last summer?
What did you do last summer?
This place is
Oh, is that the Outer Banks chick? I haven't seen Outer Banks. Yep, Jennifer Love is back. Okay, so that's the trailer, y'all. Let's talk about that really quick, and then we'll get into like what we're really here to discuss, which is movies that I'm excited about. Dude, okay, so here's the thing. My history with I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's absolutely one of my quintessential slasher films. It's from my generation of movies, you know, Scream, just kind of the Kevin Williamson formula of slasher. That's my jam for sure. Now, here's the thing, okay? Scream already did this. Scream with Scream 5 did the Legacy sequel where they basically did the same exact story of the first movie. They just did it new and in continuity with the original story. The reason why it works for Scream, though, is because the mantle of Ghostface it's acquired. It's something that a different person is going to get. So there's a lot of reasons why a Ghostface killer would come back, right? Like, that's kind of like, it's a legacy mantle. The thing with the Fisherman is it was one guy who was out for revenge for a very specific thing that these teens did. So to me, when I read the plot a few weeks ago that they said a group of teens kills somebody in a car accident on graduation night, and then a year later, they start dying one by one. And then you see the killer, it's the Fisherman. He's got the hook for the hand. He's got the harpoon gun. So to me, I just don't get why they would do this. Because if you ask me, I think it would be more interesting to do, if you're going to do a Legacy sequel, maybe do something where like the Fisherman is supernatural or not involved even. Maybe like a different situation. I don't know. Here's what I do know, though. What I do know is this trailer was everything I was afraid it was going to be. It looks like shit. I'm not excited about this. I'm hoping there'll be some good kills and stuff. But to me, this is just, it's basically creating an impossible scenario. Here's my question. Are we supposed to believe as the audience that the exact same set of events is happening in the exact same town as the original movie without being connected to the original crime in any way? That's what I don't get. Like, so it's a new set of teens, unrelated. They kill a new guy on accident, unrelated. The new unrelated guy comes back as the Fisherman a year later, starts killing these teens in their town. That is the exact thing that happened. So the problem is, what the fuck does that mean? How does that happen? Logically, what are the odds of that? So it works for Scream in a way that it could never work for I Know What You Did Last Summer. And that is going to be, to me, the reason why this movie is going to be forgettable. I can already tell by that trailer. I'm going to see it regardless because I want to be wrong. And I want this to be a good entry into that universe. You know, it's a trilogy. I don't know if you guys know there was a third movie. So this will be the fourth one, you know. All right, let's get to some comments. Sorry, guys. Yeah. All right, what's everyone doing this weekend? Let's see. A lot of disappointment in this trailer. Good. Same. I think that they need to try a little bit harder because this is a beloved IP, okay? It's kind of, to me, it's on the level of Scream, or The Faculty, you know, which is an iconic slasher kind of movie from the 90s. And it's just one that it is the kind of movie that you should remake. Maybe not a legacy sequel every time, but like you could get away with that. I'm not saying that it should remain untouched. I'm just saying if you're going to bring it back with reason. Bring it back with conviction. Don't just bring it back to be like, hey, remember all the stuff we did? We're going to do it again. You know? Yeah, meh is a good word for it. Hip Hop Legend says, I just hung out and chilled last summer. What about you? Same. I definitely didn't accidentally kill a fisherman on the side of the highway. Hey, Just a Guy is back. Welcome back, man. You get one of these. It's been a while.
Hello there.
Hello there. What's up, buddy? Thanks for coming back, man. Wu-Tang Forever, Ghostface Killa. You know what it is. Yeah, Darnell. Yeah, I'm probably going to see this movie at the theaters because I just feel like I might want to talk about it on a live stream or something. So I'm going to go see it. But otherwise, this is a movie I would save for streaming. Absolutely. Yeah, maybe they killed the original fish. You know, and that's what they did for the sequel. The original sequel, I still know what you did last summer. It was like his son out for revenge now. Silly, silly, silly. Oh, Just a Guy wants to know. This is how you know we got a fan of the JoBlo Horror Originals channel. Just a Guy says, he has a question. He says, was it you or John or Lance that have already seen the new Predator movie? I can tell you I haven't seen it. I don't know if John or Lance have seen it. I don't know. Tyler probably. If anybody's going to see it early, it's going to be Tyler. That's for sure. If anybody's seeing that movie early, it's Tyler. Yeah, dude, The Faculty, Hip Hop Legends. One of the great films of ever. I love Robert Rodriguez, and that is an underrated Robert Rodriguez joint for sure. Yeah, and then kind of while we're on this topic, and actually this will tie into tonight's giveaway. So kind of a good time to bring it up. They also announced that there's an Urban Legends 2 coming out. If you guys don't remember, Urban Legends, again, kind of on the same pedigree as your Scream and your I Know What You Did Last Summer. Not as good, but still pretty good. It's got Jared Leto, Michael Rosenbaum. It's basically Joshua Jackson, of course. It's basically like a group of teens. You know, they learn the stories of these town urban legends, and then the urban legends of the town come to life and start picking them off. I don't want to give anything away, but they're doing a sequel, so my guess would be we're gonna get whoever didn't die in that movie coming back, and maybe some new urban legends. It's like maybe Slender Man. Maybe they'll do some like Marble Hornets, creepypasta references or something. Yeah, Just a Guy. Yeah, we're going to talk about the new Predator design as well. But before we do, let's talk about the main topic of tonight, which is Sinners. You guys hear that? Yeah. Yep, we got a good one on our hands, boys. Okay, so Sinners is out. And if you guys are on the internet, you've probably been hearing whispers of this movie for the entire week. At least for me, I think before I saw this movie last Sunday, Saturday or Sunday. And for the 2 days that it was out before that, I was already hearing so much about this movie. However, I was able to go in without seeing a trailer and without knowing the plot of the movie. All I had seen was people saying that they liked it. It was really good. It was a Coogler, one of Coogler's best. But I didn't see a trailer. I didn't know what the movie was about. I just went in to see it, okay? Now, usually I wouldn't do that for a movie longer than 2 hours without knowing what it's about. But in this case, I think the mixture of it being a Ryan Coogler film, I really like the Creed movies, and then as well, it being kind of talked about as if it's, like kicking off Blockbuster season, right? So had to go see it. Kingsport, Callie, you've seen this movie 3 times already? You get one of these just for that. Good for you, man. That's important. I think when you like a movie, you should go see it as many times as you can. And I say that because that's how movies like this continue to get made. That's how studios learn that they can take risks with original content and original stories that aren't based on an IP, Now, this is an auteur film. This was written and directed by Ryan Coogler. So let's talk about it. First, what is this movie? I didn't know anything going into it, but all I knew was new Ryan Coogler movie. And of course, that means it stars Michael B. Jordan. Those are 2 green flags for me. I'm a big fan of Ryan Coogler, big fan of Michael B. Jordan. So I was all for this. In fact, I think the best work Michael B. Jordan has ever done has always been in Ryan Coogler projects. Like, I don't love the Black Panther, the first movie, but you got to admit, it's a pretty good movie, and Michael B. Jordan is easily one of the best parts of that movie. No shade to anyone else, especially my man Chadwick Boseman. Love that dude. Rest in peace. Good movie, not great. Michael B. Jordan, best part of it, though. Now, Sinners. Is Sinners a great movie? Yes. Now, this, you don't have to put too much stock into what Rotten Tomatoes says. I try not to put too much stock into what Rotten Tomatoes says. But look at the tomato meter, look at the popcorn meter, the critic score, the audience score, 98 and 97%. Let's see how they describe this movie. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers, Michael B. Jordan, return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. That's pretty good way to put it. But I don't know if that's, like the most apt way to describe this movie, Here's how I think of Sinners. I didn't know it was a vampire movie, and I didn't know that it was about twins. I just knew it was a period piece with Michael B. Jordan. That's literally all I do, and I could just glean that from the poster. What I think this movie is kind of like, it's a movie about legacy, and specifically a legacy in the arts, I think. If you look at every threat in this movie, it stems from art of some sort. And if you look at kind of all 3 acts of this movie, a persistent golden thread is the idea of legacy and what the art can become in the future, what it's been in the past, where it leads people, and not just art. I mean, we're talking all sorts of things, okay? There's legacy with fathers and sons, brothers, vampires. I mean, there's references to that kind of theme all the time in this movie. And I fucking loved it. Now, I, again, didn't know that this was going to be a vampire movie. Let me play some footage so you guys can at least... But I don't want to say anything else without spoiling it. Okay, just to not spoil it, vampires show up at a certain point in the movie when it's very much needed, and then the movie goes from being one thing to being like an extension of that thing plus much more, okay? When the vampires show up, though, here's why I liked it. At first, you kind of, like, that something is going on. But for me, having not known that this was a vampire movie, I had no idea it was going to be vampire shit. I just thought, okay, there's like some kind of supernatural thing. Because you get kind of one scene, a little bit of one scene before the vampire stuff happens that alludes to it. But that's it. And it's great, okay? I also like the kind of, there's a turning point in the movie when they get the juke joint opened, and there's the one scene that we all know, that we all love. It's the music scene, the I lied to you scene. And it's a oneer, and it's very unique, it's very weird. And that is kind of the turning point of the movie. That's when the rest of the movie kind of goes from being just an intriguing and tightly told thriller about 2 brothers. That's when it kind of blossoms into, oh, we're getting weird now. And I loved it. I'm sitting in the theater. There was maybe like, I don't know, 5 other people in the maybe not even that. It might have just been me and my wife and like one other person. And it was early on a Sunday, and I'm watching this movie. That scene comes, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this movie? This is amazing. And I kind of held that attitude all the way through to the very end. And there's a post-credit scene, which I would actually call kind of just another ending to the movie, just kind of an extended ending to the movie. You guys, I loved it. I would love for, I don't have a twin, but one of my brothers is less than a year older than me. So we're like Irish twins is, I guess, what it's called. And so I felt the same way watching this movie. It did remind me a little bit of my brother and I, and just the kind of blind loyalty that comes with having a brother, you know, that kind of unwavering, even in the face of Armageddon, you know? Cowboy, yeah, free of the Marvel goofiness, you know? Free of the Marvel green screen backgrounds. This is Ryan Coogler making a movie that wasn't funded by Marvel, therefore didn't have to fit in with any other stuff. It was awesome. Oh yeah, dude, check. You guys want a recommendation? This one's for Darnell. This is what I've been listening to on Apple Music all week, is the Sinners soundtrack. Dude, I'm telling you, this movie, the music is kind of a big part. Music is a big piece of this movie. It's kind of a catalyst. It's kind of a weapon. It's a little bit of everything. It's also a motivation in this movie for multiple characters. And the music is good. It's weird. It's a mixture of your kind of, you know, folksy, down home country, you know, original blues music, like the kind of stuff you would hear in that era, but better, I think, you know, just the talent they got for the soundtrack. I think it's better. And then it's also got a little bit of like Irish, kind of traditional Irish music, like Rocky Road to Dublin, which is every Irish person in the world knows that song. There's a rendition of that on this soundtrack, and it's very good. This is like a good gym soundtrack. Can you tell? But it's also like a good, like, stimulating if you're working and you just need a score in the background. You can also separately download the score to this movie, which is also very good and would recommend. Yeah, King Sport Cow, my favorite of the two, obviously. I think the best scene in the entire movie, one of the best scenes in any movie that I've seen recently, is the one inside of the juke joint. That's the I Lied to You one where Preacher Boy's just, you know, he's jamming and then Future Man comes in and then you see like the, you know. But then I did also like the Rocky Road to Dublin music scene where the vampires are doing it. And that's interesting too, isn't it? Those are two very musical scenes. Like I'm a big fan of musicals, so maybe that's why I loved that scene so much in particular. But honestly, I think everybody, even if you don't like musicals, I think that scene is for everybody. But it's interesting to me because that's something that in this past year has been getting pushback, you know, like Joker 2, which did not handle the musical stuff the way that people would have hoped. It wasn't as tasteful as people would have hoped. And then, like, you know, I mean, other than Wicked, I feel like musicals of all kinds have been getting pushback. And then this, not a musical by any means, but two musical scenes that are shot like musicals. You know, they're like diegetic pieces of music that are being played in the movie. I don't know. It's awesome. It's fucking cool. You guys gotta check out that movie, man. Would Dr. Sleep technically qualify as a vampire movie? That's an interesting question, but I'm gonna say no. I don't think it counts. I love Dr. Sleep, but I don't really think of like what were they? Not Death Eaters, but whatever they were called. I don't really think of Rose the Hat's cult as vampires. I think they're more like, I don't know. They're more like demons, I guess, right? Kind of hard to say. Dungeon Crawler Jesse says, favorite musical is Into the Woods. No, bro. I mean, like, cool. Very good. Very fun. This is the best musical in the world right here. I got it for you right there, bub. That is Rocky Horror Picture Show, a.k.a. the greatest musical of all time, a.k.a. one of the greatest movies of all time, a.k.a. a movie starring one of the greatest actors of all time, Tim Curry. Oh, yeah, buddy. All right. Whew. Let's keep it moving. Let's talk about some more movie news, okay? So, yeah, Sinners is doing really good. If you guys haven't seen it, go see it this weekend. It's a unique, fully original movie. It does kind of have some From Dusk Till Dawn vibes, but it's not From Dusk Till Dawn. You know, it's not like you're going to watch this movie and be like, oh, they're just doing From Dusk Till Dawn. It has similar setup elements, but that's all, okay? That's all. Okay, let's take a look at some other news. I thought this was interesting here. This is a small update. I don't know. Like, I guess this remains to be seen. More needs to be revealed. But apparently, it kind of slipped out in an interview what the title for the sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood might be. Now, if you guys didn't know, here's some exciting shite. Quentin Tarantino is writing a sequel spin-off movie to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood following Cliff Booth, and David Fincher is directing that movie. David Fincher, one of the greatest filmmakers of our time. I watched Seven last night. My wife had never seen it. I said, you haven't seen Seven? You got to see Seven. We watched Seven, and you know what I say about that? Still a perfect movie. How about that? What? Chalmer. Wait, which part do you not like? You don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show? You have to like Rocky Horror Picture Show. You have to. You like it. Or you don't like that Fincher's directing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Because here's what I think. I think this is going to be cool. This is going to be weird because if you know David Fincher, he does not shoot movies like Quentin Tarantino, but you also know he's not going to try to emulate Quentin Tarantino. He's going to give us a David Fincher style movie. Let's talk a little bit about this, especially if you guys like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I personally do. This is interesting stuff. So first things first, it looks like the sequel will be called The Continuing Adventures of Cliff Booth. It's fine, you know. I mean, it's fine. It matches kind of the kind of old sequel setup. You know, this feels very much like a Butch Cassidy Returns, kind of thing. It's cool. But here's what I thought was cool. Supposedly this film is looking to premiere on Netflix and is looking to follow Cliff pursuing a new career, which obviously, right? But still in Hollywood, making sure that movie sets are running smoothly and getting shenanigans out of the way. So kind of a perfect job for Cliff Booth. And Kevin wrote this article. Hi, Kevin. Kevin also made the thumbnail for tonight's show, so shout out to Kevin. Whoa. So I think this is interesting. I do like the idea of a Fincher Tarantino kind of mashup. I think that's very weird. I think that in some ways those two things will complement each other, and then in some ways they'll clash, and hopefully in the ways that they clash, it'll be for the better. It'll make some kind of new flavor we haven't seen yet, but we're going to see. It's too early to know. Secretly a Boogie Nights sequel. Wouldn't that be something? Azo100 says, Tarantino made fun of Fincher in his book and said every movie he does just rips off Dirty Harry. So this is really surprising to me, honestly. But I know Brad likes Fincher. Well, yeah, I mean, Fight Club, Seven, maybe another one. Just getting caught up on your guys' comments here. Apologize if I've missed some of yours. All right, so final thoughts on Sinners. You guys go see the movie, man. The performances, supposedly the kid who plays Preacher Boy, who I apologize that I don't know or can't remember his name, but the reason for that is because he's never acted before. So when you guys see the movie, you'll know what I mean when I say all the performances are great. Michael B. Jordan is a clear professional, right? But even some of the smaller names in this movie, Jack O'Connell, who played Remick, kind of the head vampire, very charming. Miles Catton, who played Sammy Preacher Boy Moore. Miles Catton, I think it is. Miles Catton is incredible in this movie. And what's weird is this is his first thing, so I'm not really exactly sure where he came from. But this is him next to Michael B. Jordan. And man, this kid's... I'm calling him kid. I don't even know how old he is. Let's see how old he is. He doesn't even have a bio. Oh, yeah. It does. I don't know his birthday. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is this kid has an incredible voice for the blues, especially. And not just that, his acting chops are... I mean, he was holding scenes with everybody and kind of stealing the show in some of them. So... really, really good movie. Very much worth your time. Very much worth your money. Please go see it. Oh, Darnell says he's a singer and he's been touring with the band Her. That is good to know, and that makes total sense because when you hear him sing, you can tell the guy's a singer. And he's like, they say the truth hurts, so I lied to you. I couldn't even start to, yes, I lied to you. Yes, I lied to you. Too deep. Coogler is doing X-Files soon. I'm excited for that personally, as long as it feels like X-Files. The last 4 seasons have been pretty bad, so it can only be an improvement, right? Yeah. Coogler doing X-Files works for me. That sounds awesome. Like, I would be the same kind of thing, like, if Jordan Peele was doing X-Files. It works. His directorial style, it works. The only thing is, X-Files does need a win. I just went back and was watching some of the previous seasons. I just kind of started a rewatch a couple of months ago. And man, that show was so great, wasn't it? I like to watch it late night, like how I did when I was a kid. And the theme song is very comforting. That ooh, you know, I just kind of, I love X-Files. I'm excited for anything Ryan Coogler does. And obviously right now I'm at peak excitement because Sinners was such a goddamn miracle of a movie. And I loved it. Kingsport, I will say this. I actually liked Jordan Peele's The Twilight Zone kind of like revival. It's not as good as The Twilight Zone, but I thought it was okay. It was a good anthology, kind of creepy, crawly story. Also, though, and I will say this, I also recently started going back and rewatching old episodes of The Twilight Zone, and that show doesn't really get good until like episode 5, 6, 7. Those 3 episodes are very good, but and 8, of course. But, I mean, Twilight Zone, there's some episodes in there that are not great. There's some in there that are not as iconic as the way we remember the show, you know? Some of them, though, still hit really hard. The truth is out there. Yes, X-Files. We love it. Wiki says that... No way. Madcap, thank you for being here. You get one of these?
Hello there.
He says that... oh man, what's that kid's name again? It's Miles Catton is 20 or 21 years old, man. He's got a bright career ahead of him, preacher boy. Dark Hymns from the Cold North, that's a sick name. I only watch X-Files late at night. Yeah, me too. I like to watch it when I'm stoned and when it's late and I'm either laying in bed, just kind of like restless, just looking for something to stimulate me. Or if I'm like truly in the mood to like binge something, it just feels right to watch X-Files late, you know, late at night, the midnight hour. Yeah, so this is the Cowboy. I think it's called Time Enough at Last is the name of this episode of Twilight Zone. And it's episode 8, I believe. Because episode 7, I think, is my favorite one. That's the one where the guy is on prison on Mars alone, and then he gets like kind of like a fuck bot sent to him, but he doesn't trust her, and then he starts to trust her, and then they kill her. But this one, yeah, this is a sad episode. That one's, I believe it's called Time Enough at Last, and basically this guy's like kind of like a loser. His wife doesn't respect him. He's like getting cucked by his wife all the time. And I mean, it's subtext, but it's in there. And then finally, like, everything lines up to where all of his responsibilities, his wife, everything disappear. I mean, not mysteriously, we know what happened. But finally, he's alone. And he's got nothing but time to read books, which is like this character's big thing. He just wants to read all these books. He's finally got time to sit down and read it. He makes this giant stack of books he's going to read, and then he drops his glasses and they break, and then he can't read any of the books. And the episode is very sad and ironic, but also very good. Darnell Leak says, your favorite episode is when young Robert Redford plays Death. Yeah, that's in season 1 too, I think. That was also in season 1. All right, guys, let's talk about The Predator, because I saw a couple of comments coming through already. This is a big year for Predator, huh? We got Killer of Killers, I think, is the animated one. And then we just got our trailer, our first look at the new Predator film called Predator Badlands. And this film promises to be different because it's making the Predator the good guy. Okay, so we're supposed to be Team Predator on this one, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Okay, because this trailer is getting some backlash online. I have things to say. First of all, great opening shot. I was excited as soon as I saw this stuff. I also turned down the volume on this because copyright. So if you haven't seen this trailer and you want it with the audio, you can go watch it after this live stream. Look at that, though. And this is also, yeah, from the director of Prey. So I don't know about you guys. I love Prey, I thought that was a great movie. There's a little Alien reference there, a little Prometheus reference there from Elle Fanning. But I thought Prey was great. I really liked that movie. And so I'm excited that we got the same guy here to direct this one. I'm loving the visuals, though. Some of those wide shots are just absolutely stellar. They definitely put more money into this one than Prey, since Prey did so well on streaming. All right, so there's the backlash right there. This is what people have this is what people have beef with, and I kind of do get it. Okay. So obviously the design of this new Predator is different. It's a little bit more organic looking, and it's a little bit less animalistic. This is where the bulk of the backlash is coming from. I actually think this trailer, like on the whole, looks fucking great. I think this movie looks fucking great. One of our producers is here, says Predator died with part 2. The rest was subpar, in my opinion. That comment looks like it's coming from me, but I assure you it's not. It's from one of our producers. And I have to say, I agree. Predator 1, Predator 2, but then Prey, dude. Prey kicks ass, you know? Prey was a sick movie, man. Amber Mid-Thunder crushed it. And I gotta say, part of it was I was just stoked. I expected that movie to be dog shit. You know, I watched it on Hulu when it came out. And I was like, this is a Hulu original Predator movie. I don't know. But it's fucked up, but I loved it. Thought it was a great movie. Any hoozles. This is where the beef is coming from for people. Look at that face. The face only a mother could love, yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing. I think they're trying to make this Predator look a little different on purpose. Okay? So we can hate it, because I'm not going to lie. When I saw it, this is exactly what happened. Let me give you guys... This was my emo phase. When I saw this, that's how I felt. I felt the emo coursing through my veins when I saw this. But I think that they want this Predator to look a little bit different for 2 reasons. I think, number one, they probably want this character to look different from the other Predators, right? So that way we know which one. Usually in these movies, we see like one at a time. You know what I mean? So I think that that's part of it. The other thing is, I think it's kind of obvious. They made the face look a little bit more human, presumably so that way we as an audience can understand the emotions that this man is trying to make during the movie, which is important when he's supposed to be the good guy. However, here's the problem, okay? You could still make the design look good. It doesn't have to look like this. It doesn't have to look dumb, you know? If you want to make them look different and more humanoid, that's an option, obviously. And I'm not the filmmaker, so, I mean, I couldn't do a better job. But what I will say is, different is one thing, but make it look good still. Make him a different color, or like make his eyes more human, or, you know, make certain elements human while keeping the other ones intact from what we wanted and expected. Because I think that part of the problem is that this feels like a sort of retcon to the design of Predator, which I know for Predator fans is gonna hit home. So that's what I think. Other than that, I think that trailer looks pretty good. I'm excited for the movie. I think I have faith in the director. I have faith in the movie on the whole. I think the character design is a little bit rough. I'm hoping we get into some kind of like, I don't know, like, you know, like when Ugly Sonic, you know, like hit the market, hit the newsstands, and there was so much backlash that they were like, let's fucking fix this before the movie comes out. Maybe that's what they'll do. First of all, John, thank you for being here. Well, let's welcome John Fallon. You know, we give a round of applause. John Fallon, one of the most handsome boys in the office. Easily. Says Prey was beyond overrated, but then follows it up with, I like Predators more. What? What do you mean? What do you mean you liked Predators more? I have to maybe I got a better sound here. I'll let this one speak for itself. That is bullshit. No, John, don't tell me things like that, my man. I love you. But that is crazy, dude. Prey was way better than Predators. Way better. Yeah, I agree. Prey is phenomenal. AVP wasn't bad. Okay, I do have a little bit of here's the thing too. I'll tell you guys this. I'm more of an Aliens guy or more of an Alien guy in general than a Predator guy. But AVP, those movies, I don't know, man. I kind of talked about them in a video I made about Alien a long time ago, over a year ago. And at the time, I was a little bit harsh on those movies, but they are kind of like, there's a schlocky fun to be had. I will say, you can't really, at least the quality of the version of those movies that I see, it's pretty like dark. Like the screen is dark. It's kind of hard to see stuff. Other than that, though, I guess some of those movies are like kind of drunk fun. You know? At least that's how I see it. Okay. Let's see what else we got, you guys. Let's see. On the movie news side of things, let's go back to my screen share here. This is just a personal one for me that I thought was cool. I wanted to mention Cameron Crowe has a memoir planned for the fall of this year. Cameron Crowe is one of my favorite filmmakers. He made Almost Famous, Say Anything, Vanilla Sky. He wrote Fast Times, co-wrote it. But he's made two of my favorite movies, like two of my top 20 movies of all time, which would be Almost Famous and Jerry Maguire. So I love Cameron Crowe. I thought it was cool. He's got a memoir coming out. And he's kind of like the thing I like about Cameron Crowe as like a figure, he's kind of anonymous, right? Like unless you love movies, you might not even know who this guy is. But that's kind of the appeal. He's kind of famously uncool. That's actually the name of his website, is The Uncool. And that comes from his Academy Award winning film, Almost Famous. But that's what I like about him. And so I'm excited to read his memoirs because he's so much less public than all of my other favorite filmmakers. You know what I mean? Like Guillermo del Toro, probably my favorite director in terms of like, you know, still working today, modern directors. Probably my favorite, but I've seen all of his interviews because he is all over the place doing press all the time. Cameron Crowe doesn't do stuff like that. So I was just excited to see he's got a memoir coming out that I can read about. Now here's the next thing. The Superman drama for now supposedly has ended. This is according to Steve at JoBlo. Shout out to Steve. Love Steve. Warner Brothers has won the lawsuit overseas that was supposedly going to be banning this film from premiering overseas. Okay, that was going to be a big problem because, as most of you know, we've talked about this ad nauseum on these live streams, but as most of you know, this movie is kind of make or break, all or nothing for Warner Brothers. If Superman doesn't do well, the rest of DC is fucked. And if DC is fucked, Warner Brothers is losing a pillar of their IP. It means Warner Brothers is fucked. So it's important that Superman does well. No pressure to James Gunn, of course. But it looks like one of the big things is that they were able to get over the beef. King Sporthouse says petty squabbles. That's basically it, dude. Warner Brothers was like, we're releasing this fucking movie because we have to. And finally, they squabbled up and then they squabbled down. You know, so that'll be good. So when the movie comes out, it'll have an international release. You won't see any fucky box office numbers because it wasn't able to release international. And I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that because honestly, like I'm excited. I'm very excited for the movie, but I haven't seen anything that has warranted my excitement yet. What I mean by that is the trailer didn't do anything. The Superman trailer did not do anything for me, really. And I've seen it 5 times since it came out, and I'm just not there with what I've seen. But then I saw the extended 5-minute clip that came out, and I liked that much better. So I'm very excited because I believe in my heart that Superman has potential to be an incredible movie. I trust James Gunn. I trust David Corenswet with the role of Clark Kent. I trust Rachel Brosnahan. I think it's great that it's going to have some world building characters in it to kind of help fill this whole world out. I am excited for all of those things, though, basically just because I love Superman. Because other than that, dude, the promo material for this movie, what little there has been kind of underwhelming for me personally. Okay? And I'm sorry if that came off as a rant. You guys know I'm excited about Superman. It's just, I just want it to be good so bad. I want the trailers to blow me away. Cowboy says, do you think James Gunn left Marvel because Gamora was killed in the Avengers without his say-so? No. I do think that he probably felt slighted by that, because James Gunn up until then had pretty much had full creative control over the story arcs of the Guardians. And then now, a decision was kind of made for him that would change the trajectory of his third movie. So I do think he was probably not feeling all the way good about that. But I think he left because I think James Gunn knew that what he got to do with the Guardians trilogy was special. He got to do something that most Marvel directors kind of in that machine don't get to do, which was make his movies the way he wanted to. He did have to tie in things here and there, but Guardians was mostly kind of off on its own tangent for the first two movies. So he got to really just do his own thing. And I think he knew that after Guardians was over, those days were over. The franchise has gotten so big that he wouldn't be able to do an Artur-driven movie like that again. So what did he do? I think he did what James Gunn would do. He found more passion projects at DC that he would like to make, and then he just shoehorned his way into them. And that's awesome. I'm glad. Azo 100. Do you prefer your Superman movie type gritty and dark or more bright and heroic, generally speaking? This is a great question, and I know that this is kind of a divisive question. I like my Superman movies to be bright and hopeful and optimistic. I like Superman 78, to me, is the Superman movie. That's like if I want to watch a Superman live action movie, that's the one I'm going to watch 8 out of 10 times, I might goof off and watch, Superman Quest for Peace if I'm stoned, or I might watch Man of Steel if I'm kind of just feeling, I don't know, in the mood for something a little more modern. But I like what did you call it? A bright and heroic. I like that for Superman. I prefer that Superman, the thing that I find interesting about Superman is not his powers, and that's the problem. I think that's why we always put Superman in the dark and gritty seat these days. And it's because otherwise you go, well, he's got all these powers and it's like kind of boring. But what if we make him angry? And when he's mad, then here's the thing. Homelander doing that better than anybody could do it. Anthony Starr as Homelander, kind of, you don't really get a better dark Superman than that. Right. So I think what makes the character of Superman interesting is not the fact that he's loaded with powers. It's the fact that despite being an alien with alien powers, Superman is a human. He was sent to Kansas as a baby. He grew up human. He grew up thinking he was all the way human, right? So then you find out you have these alien kind of godlike powers. The real conflict is, how do you use that to restore the world, to restore peace, to restore hope? That's interesting. It's interesting that somebody who's given those powers would choose to do the right thing. It's not as interesting when you make him choose to be dark and gritty, because that's just kind of the obvious way to go, right? It's more cool to go, how crazy would it be if we gave this guy the powers of a god and he still chose to wear red underwear and be kind of a good old mama's boy character? I like that. I think that is interesting. There's a psychology to that, frankly, I think Christopher Reeve did the best at exploring. I think Christopher Reeve did the best job at showing us what a truly pure-hearted human would look like if they had superpowers. That is interesting to me. Another rant, guys. I'm sorry. I know. Superman Returns is okay. Here's the thing. I like Brandon Routh as Superman. I also think the movie is okay. Kevin Spacey was good as Lex Luthor, even though we're not allowed to say it. I'll say it like Taylor Johnson. Kevin Spacey. But it is a pretty okay movie. I do think it's a little bit underrated. Bend over. Welcome back.
Hello there.
Do you think Batman and Superman is going public domain might spark some creative new takes? Yes and no. Creative, yes. Good, maybe. Will there be a shitload of uncreative, unoriginal bad takes? Definitely. Be prepared for a slew of Batman horror movies. I can't wait to talk about that when Batman enters the public domain. I can't wait. All right, guys, we're getting close to my time, which is unfortunate. So we are going to do a giveaway tonight, but before we do that, I do have a bit of an announcement. Let's get some announcement music. How about this one?
Well, I don't know why I came here tonight.
From Reservoir Dogs.
Right.
All right, guys. Here's an announcement. So we are going to be moving the Friday Night Flicks date, the showtime. It's no longer going to be on Fridays, you guys. Now, here's why. I had been getting some feedback for like the last 6 months, and it seems like it's just been getting more and more of people missing the show on a Friday because they have stuff going on. And looking at our upload schedule, looking at it, I think Thursday is a sweet spot where we can still do our movie news roundup, and we can still, talk about what goes on during the week. But a little bit earlier now. Instead of Fridays, you guys will get me on Thursday nights. Hopefully that will work for all of my loyal returning people, which, by the way, you guys are the best. Thank you. And hopefully that'll mean that we can, kind of expand and catch even more people that like to hang out and goof off with me the way you guys do. So I'm hoping so. All right, we got that YouTuber with Kiki as a profile picture. Hello.
Hello there.
A JoBlo video on Small Soldiers when? Ooh, the Robert Zemeckis classic. I love Small Soldiers. We will be getting to that. Trust me, we will be getting to it. Okay, so yeah. So you guys, we're going to be moving the shows to Thursday. Oh, thank you, Dungeon Crawler Jesse. Thank you. You'll be here either way. I appreciate that. Hopefully you guys, this just means that we can hang out with even more people. We can get even more comments and interaction. And I'm just really hoping that for those of you that enjoy the show week over week right now, that you guys can still come and hang out. Oh no. Yeah, Hip Hop Legend says changing days. I don't know if I like that, but okay. I'll make it worth your time, Hip Hop Legend, I promise. I think also it'll be easier because on Fridays are kind of just heavy traffic days for us at JoBlo for work, right? There's new movies coming out. A lot of us have to go out to the movies to see those movies so we can review them, right? Or sometimes we're traveling because there's a new movie coming out on a Friday and we have a junket interview on the week before. So there's just times when it works better for me to have Fridays more open, and Thursday nights, they're just a little bit easier because I might be able to hang out for a little bit longer with you guys, that kind of thing. Now, hopefully you guys will be returning for Thursdays. I'm going to let you know, stay on the channel, stay subscribed. I will probably be making the official announcement in a community tab whenever we decide to make that change, but it's coming. And the next thing is, because we're moving it away from Fridays, we are no longer calling the show Friday Night Flicks. So we have a new intro stinger to reveal the name. All right, so we will be the JoBlo movie show, from now on. David, no! David, on the Thursdays that you're working, bro, go to the bathroom, take a bathroom break, and, watch my show, and then go back to work. Bootzilla says Thursday should be okay. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Anything you guys can do to make it, man, especially for those of you that come every week to the show, I mean, y'all are the reason I'm even able to do this. So please continue to do that, man. It would mean a lot. I'll miss you guys without you. But let's do a giveaway, shall we? All right, y'all. We got a giveaway. All right, guys, we're doing a giveaway. We are going to be giving away the Blu-ray Steelbook of the original I Know What You Did Last Summer, starring Jennifer Love Hewitt, Ryan Phillippe, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and of course, Freddie Prinze Jr. This is a sick Steelbook. I actually want one of these. And when I asked if we could get two so that I could give one away and keep one for myself, the answer was no. But it's okay. I would rather one of you guys have this than me myself. So we're going to be giving away one Steelbook Blu-ray of I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is what it looks like in the full box. This one here, which looks nice. You got the fireworks, the original cover in the backdrop there. And then when you take it out of its sleeve, you've got this beautiful kind of like blue colorized image of some of the classic marketing. And then even the disc itself, it's got the prom queen tiara that gets dropped or taken by the fisherman when he goes down. So this is very cool, and we are excited to give them away. So we're going to be giving one away to the person who answers this question to my liking. Okay, let me free up some room. Which iconic slasher would you reboot or make a legacy sequel for? I'm going to be picking my favorite answer to this question, and that person will be the winner. It doesn't matter the era. This could be 70s, could be 80s, could be 90s. I would say anything before the 70s. There wasn't a lot of like slashers before that. There was, but like not really. So 70s, 80s, 90s, you know, something I've heard of. Hey, cool. All right, Jesse, you got your I'm Your Huckleberry sign hung and proudly in the man cave. You guys rock. Thank you, man. Thank you for the update. I always like, if you want Jesse, Dungeon Crawler Jesse, if you feel like it, send us a picture and I'll show it on the next show and give you a little shout out. Just a guy. Norman Bates. That's a good answer. Psycho is one of my favorite slasher movies. You can see that one was before the 70s. That was 1960. It's one of my favorite films. Hitchcock, who I also have right up there. One of my favorite filmmakers not living. Darnell Leak says The Burning. Ooh, that's interesting. Cartoon Man, Friday the 13th. I know. I'm hoping it happens. What else? What slashers would you guys? Oh, Maniac Cop. That is a good one. Be positive. I'm gonna stick a pin in that one because that's a good one. The Hills Have Eyes, set after World War III. That's a cool idea. I like that. You guys are all kind of pitching your best here. I want to know, like, what's, like, you know, like, they're making, like, a Idle Hands reboot. Not really a slasher, but, you know, I would count that, right? What's a slasher movie that you love that you're like, this is just begging to be remade? There are so many out there that are begging for a remake. Yeah, a remake of 13 Ghosts would be sick. That's a good answer. I like that one. It's not the winner, obviously, Jesse. You can't win two giveaways in a row, but that's a good one. What else you guys got? We got Maniac Cop, Hills Have Eyes after World War III. That's a cool little addition there. We have Friday the 13th, The Burning, Sleepaway Camp. That is a good answer, Darnell. I've only seen the first Sleepaway Camp. I've not seen any of the other ones, but that would be good. Oh, I think we have a winner here, guys. I think we have oh, god damn, some of you guys are coming with some of that heat. Like Wolf Creek as a legacy sequel, not a reboot. Shocker. There's one that I'm holding on to that I'm not going to shout out just yet, but it might be my favorite one so far. I'm going to take a couple more entries, and if not, I know who my winner is going to be. You guys want some tunes? They'll help you think. That's a Dropkick Murphy song used in The Departed, but you got to admit it sounds a lot like the vampires from Sinners trying to lure people outside. What else you guys got? Okay. Oh, God, some of these are good. The Prowler, that's a good answer. I'm going to go with this one, though. Benjamin Dover. Ben Dover. Woo! Good for you. Puppet Master. I think this is a movie. A lot of good applause. I think this is a movie that you remake. This is a movie kind of begging for the remake treatment. Puppet Master. So Ben, I'm going to say you are our winner. As long as you are based in the United States or Canada or Mexico. So if you're in North America, this is a North American giveaway. So Ben, here's what you're going to do. I'm going to put our producer's email in the comments here. And you are going to email this email address. Prove that it's you. Send us your full actual name and your shipping address. And we will get your prize out to you once we verify that it is you. So please send your info to arrow@joblo.com so we can get that sent out to you. I always say try to do it before the weekend so we can try to get it sent before the weekend. So that way you don't have to wait too long for your prize. Because it's always kind of a bummer when we do a giveaway and then the next week I come back and people still haven't gotten their prize yet. So try to send your info as soon as possible. But congratulations to Ben Dover. arrow@joblo.com. Send that email, my boy. All right, folks. So that is our show. The big takeaways for tonight that I want you guys to leave here with. Go see Sinners this fucking weekend. Go see it right now, as a matter of fact. The show's over. Go see Sinners and enjoy yourself, and then come back here and comment and tell me how right I was about how good it is. Next thing that you guys can do, tell a friend about the show. If you enjoy it and you like coming here, maybe send it to one of your work buddies that you talk movies with. Maybe send it to somebody that you know might get a kick out of some of these shenanigans that we do here at JoBlo. Okay, and maybe next week we can welcome some new people to the stream. So just a guy, enjoy it. Going to see Sinners right now, enjoy it. I might go see it again this weekend. If I do, I'll let you guys know. I love you all. You guys are the fucking best. Congratulations to Ben Dover on the giveaway, and I will see you guys next week. I love you all. Bye-bye.